How do you think the British will attack, Senor Commodore?
Jose, that is the 300 billion peso question. But the Times does say a landing on East Malvinas and an airstrike against the landing strip.
But the Telegraph suggests West Malvinas.
But there again, there is the Maury Pole. 40% said the Marines will land on Weddell Island. 27% said Queen Charlotte Bay.
But the Guardian says the task force will soil up the Falklands Sound.
Falkland? Where is that on my map? Falkland?
Peace Ending, April the 30th. A look back at the very last 7 days with David Tate, Sheila Steafel, Chris Emmett and John Glover.
The story so far, Episode 3. Tension mounts over the central issue of the Falklands crisis, the Beaconsfield by-election. Mrs. Thatcher, discovering that no members of the task force live in Beaconsfield, decides to step up the aggression. Mr. Foote attacks Mrs. Thatcher's handling of the crisis in the name of good sense and to gain equal airtime. In New York, the UN makes spirited attempts to intervene for peace, sending a stern and urgent message to the Argentine government. But the initiative fails when the bottle containing the message sinks. The British press mocks the Argentines for inconsistency in their reporting of the taking of South Georgia, and then quotes Admiral Woodward as saying the retaking of the Falklands will be both a walkover and a hellish bloodbath. After the task force invades to protect the Falkland Islanders, will there be any Falkland Islanders left to protect? When will Mrs. Thatcher break the news to Admiral Woodward and his men that in order to honor the islanders' wishes to remain British, the task force will not be coming home for 500 years? Find out in the next exciting installment of Destination South Atlantic, entitled, It'll All Be Over by Christmas.
Oh dear, I'm not looking forward to this.
No, Mr. Pryor.
Oh well, here we go then. Now then, gentlemen, I trust you've all read my proposals for Northern Ireland. Oh yes, fine. Jolly good.
How did it go, sir?
Oh, much better than I dared hope.
It did?
Yes, at last we've got them to agree on something.
Good evening. Tonight's panorama comes to you from 10 Downing Street, where Richard Lindley and myself will be asking the Prime Minister some deeply searching questions about the Falklands crisis.
Prime Minister, I suppose the most important question is, what happens next?
I'm sorry, Richard, but you must understand that because of certain military considerations, I cannot answer that question.
I'm sorry, Prime Minister.
That's quite all right.
Yes. Well then, Prime Minister, do you now see any prospect of a peaceful solution?
No.
No?
No, I'm sorry, I can't answer that question either.
I understand.
I knew you would.
Well, then, can we have your views on Alexander Haig's mission?
No.
No, I didn't think we could.
It's a military question.
It is?
He's a general, isn't he?
Oh, yes, of course. Silly me.
In that case, Prime Minister, can I just ask you...
No.
Please forgive me, sir.
Yes, I do. Anything else?
Yes. Is
No.
But...
No.
Prime Minister, can I just ask one last question? It's nothing to do with the Falklands.
It isn't?
No, it's about the unemployment figures.
Oh.
How would you reply to them?
Well, since you put me on the spot, I suppose I really must come clean.
Good.
We'll be sailing in on Tuesday. The main attack force will comprise 10 helicopters, 3 submarines, and 5 land.
You know, we in the government are being blackmailed by one of the most callous, uncaring, and hard-hearted groups of workers our society has ever supported. You know who I'm talking about, don't you? That's right. The nurses. These people are so ruthlessly cynical that they actually expect payment for helping others. And not just your Boy Scout bob-a-job kind of payment, either. They have the nerve to demand a living wage. Can you believe that? These nurses are quite blatantly out to capitalize on the suffering of others. It's an absolute disgrace, isn't it? Whilst most of us aren't in a position to help those less fortunate than ourselves, particularly most of us in the government, these health workers get the opportunity to feel good handed to them on a stretcher every day. I don't know, it's beyond me. You'd think they at least would understand the meaning of the word charity. After all, they've had to live on it for years, haven't they?
1982, the scene, the coal board. Sir Derek Ezra retires under mysterious circumstances.
I've got to get out of this job.
What's wrong, Sir Derek? You're shaking. Are you ill?
No.
Wait, is it pressure of work?
No, it's that thing in there.
Yes, for beyond the door there lay in wait a beast which had clawed its way up from the pit. A beast that ate Coal Board chairman alive. A beast called Arthur Scargill. 20th Century Shocks in association with Metro Goldwyn Miners presents The Pit and the Pandemonium, or Thoroughly Modern Militant.
Do you know, we had thousands of letters applying for the job of Coal Board chairman.
Oh?
Yes, then Scargill became miners' leader, and since then we've had thousands more.
Really?
Cancelling the applications.
The Pit and the Pandemonium, starring Arthur Scargill and featuring the best-selling Arthur's theme. If this one doesn't scare you, you're already red. The Pit and the Pandemonium, Certificate X, not to be shown in the presence of minors. Bloody Thatcher.
What's wrong, dear?
Got laid off. Me and 400 others.
Oh, no. How am I going to do our shopping this week? Have you seen the price of food lately?
Yes, I have.
Kevin, did you find a job?
You're joking. I couldn't even find the end of the queue.
Oh.
That's Thatcher for you.
She's just creating an employment with her policies.
Are you telling me?
Thatcher. Mind you, can't outrun a war.
Yeah. You see how fast she got that task force together?
And their tough line with the Algies, withdraw or else.
Oh, I'm voting for next time.
Yes, me too, the Tories.
I am me.
I mean, she might send a task force to deal with inflation.
Yeah, or demand unemployment to withdraw from Britain.
And you join us here in Sinai to witness the ritual desert returning ceremony known to the Arabs as the Jewish Feast of Handover. This event, once the high point of the season, has alas gained an air of sadness, and as it's the third time that Egypt has won it back, she's now entitled to keep it. Shortly, the Star of David will be lowered for the last time, and their color party will march ceremoniously from that desolate stretch of sand to another stretch of sand, to hand to their successors the padlock and spare key of the city. David.
The flag slowly descends, and I can just hear the Israeli soldiers voice their salutations.
Oy vey. Oy vey.
And there goes the first of a 21 bulldozer salute, one for each building still standing in the town. So now, from my vantage point, high on the roof of the souvenir egg timer factory, on the site of the former egg timer factory. Back to you, Morris.
Yes, and as the pile driver sinks slowly in the west, the 7 tribes of demolition contractors head away towards the Jordan and a land of a little more promise, with the traditional Jewish farewell ringing in our ears. Shalom, it's been good to know you.
Yes, she's here. The girl everyone's talking about. The girl whose name is on everyone's lips. The girl about whom everyone's asking the same question.
Who the hell is Pia Zadora?
Yes, Pia Zadora, world-famous film star and part-time actress. She's been in 1,000 pictures, mostly in the national press. Now, at last, she's bursting onto the screen, being interviewed on Nationwide with a husband old enough to be her sugar daddy.
Oh, you're such a kitty pie.
Well, Pia, I wonder if you could, Pia, Miss Zadora?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yes.
I was just wishing my husband luck for his senility test.
Oh, I see, yes.
Yes, this is the face of tomorrow, the face of the girl whose talent is as well recognized as her name, Pia Zadora.
Who?
The pure superstar, megastar, hyperstar, or, to put it more succinctly, pure hype.
How do you do, Mr. Botha? Zambia extends to you the warm hand of friendship.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Kaunda. And South Africa extends to you the warm, disposing glove of friendship.
Quite. Now, can we discuss matters concerning the black man in Africa?
Oh, well, I wasn't going to say anything, but since you brought it up, yes, you're a lot blacker than I thought.
Perhaps if we were to sit down and talk.
Sit down. Oh, not yet. No. Just let me slip this dust sheet under your chair.
But the chair is quite clean.
Yes, we want it to stay that way, don't we?
What? Mr. Bott, I really think we can break down the barriers between
I'll be right with you. I'm just fumigating the room.
Oh, my God.
There, finished.
Now I'm ready to talk.
Good. Well, Mr. Budd, how can you talk when you're wearing that surgical face mask?
Don't mind me. I'll just nod and shake my head.
I could do with a drink.
Certainly, the trough's through there. Let me open the door.
Thanks.
What are you doing? You've locked the door.
Yes, it's a... Oh, I can take my face mask off now. There, now we can really get down to business.
We can't talk like this.
Oh, come on, don't be so negative. This discussion is a major multiracial breakthrough.
What?
Yes, first time I've spoken to a wog in years. But it's top secret, of course. If anyone comes in, tell them you're the houseboy.
Rockabye test tube, I'm on the list. NHS babies, who could resist? Easy as winking, no need for tears. Just sign your name, then wait for 9 years.
Now we take another trip to Mafeking Terrace, just down the road from Battle Station, to visit Monty and Vera Patriot in Episode 3 of The Patriots, an everyday story of mother country folk.
Well, Monty, here we are again.
Yes, love. Still the same old bomb shelter after 37 years.
34, dear. Remember, we didn't come out till 1948.
Oh, yes, yes. Oh, and you've put up my favourite blackout curtains.
Well, I wanted you to feel at home.
Oh, much appreciated, Vera, love. How's the knitting?
I've just finished my 14th pair of socks.
That'll keep our boys warm. Do you fancy a nip of Dunkirk spirit before dinner?
Oh, lovely.
There we are. Oh, I wonder if they've interned Michael Foot yet.
Well, he is a Conchi. They should have.
Should have, Vera. Careless talk costs lives.
Oh, someone's at the door.
Well, that'll be Horatio. No, it's Jingo. Password, Jingo. Good, come in.
Looks like he's been in another dogfight.
Probably that Chihuahua down the way.
Oh, did that dirty dago invade your territory then? Oh.
Where is Horatio? It's 8:30. Aha!
Hello, Mum. Hello, Dad.
Stop right there.
Hey?
Password.
Oh, I've forgotten.
Well, you're not coming into this shelter till you remember it.
Oh, come on, Dad. I've already spent 2 hours trying to find my way home.
Why?
Well, 'cause you smashed all the street lamps.
Well, someone's got to black out the neighbourhood. I don't know what the ARP wardens are playing at.
Well, never mind that. What about the password?
Oh, I said I've forgotten it.
Oh, you never knew it in the first place.
Yeah, how are we to know you're not an RG spy in disguise?
'Cause I'm me. I'm your son.
No son of mine would forget a password.
Or mine.
Oh, I've had enough. I'm staying out all night.
What are you going to do?
Light a bonfire to keep warm.
You mean you're going to signal to the enemy?
You hear that, Jingo? Kill the spy.
No, I'm going to burn down the Argentine embassy.
That's Horatio Patriot, all right. Come in, son.
Thanks, Dad.
Good morning.
Thank you for calling, Dr. Boyson.
Yes, look, we're a bit worried about your Russian ideas for improving things here at Fazakerley Road Comprehensive.
You mean Dynamo Collective?
Yeah.
Now, most important is to single out the intellectuals, take them away from the mainstream, and just as the Russians do...
Shoot them.
Look after them. Put them somewhere where they can carry on at their own pace, totally unaffected by people around them.
Like the salt mines.
Look, we've always had a strong sporting tradition here, but according to your scheme, that's all been cut.
Another brilliant Russian idea, taking out all the physical exercise and sport lessons from their first 5 years and lumping them all together with geography for a 2-year period at the end.
Oh, really? What do they call that?
National service.
Oh, my God.
Yes, I realise it should be 3 years, but they'll have already done their tractor training here.
And on the new timetable, there doesn't seem to be any mention of nature study.
Oh, yes, there is, but it's under its Soviet name.
Oh, yes, surveillance. And the recorder lessons, is that the descant, or do the Russians have their own version?
Of course they do. Tape.
Look, I can't see it working. I mean, setting an essay on what my suspicious relatives did during the holidays is one thing. We can't have dinner ladies censoring the alphabet. It's ridiculous.
Exactly. I mean, when the kids leave school, where on earth are they going to need the sort of skills you're proposing?
Well, surely some of them will want to go up to Cambridge.
Are your Sundays missing something? Do you wish you were better informed? You will when you read
The Mail on Sundays.
Sister to the Daily Mail and distantly related to a newspaper, the Mail on Sundays say middle of the cul-de-sac outlook promises to do for Sunday mornings what Vindaloo did for Saturday nights.
The Mail on Sundays.
The paper for right-minded people, with a frankness that's not afraid to call a spade, and 2 of them a riot. For in-depth coverage of more than just the kitchen floor...
The Mail on Sunday.
The Thinking Man's Kitty Litter. Yes, there's lots to laugh at and cartoons in...
The Mail on Sunday.
If your Sundays are still missing something, change to the Mail and miss everything. Remember, Mein Kampf every summer, the Bulldog every month, and the Mail every Sunday. For a week at least. Tonight's Edinburgh Festival concert marks a sponsorship debut for the House of Fraser, owners of Harrods. We're going to hear two works, the principal one being a new version of Mussorgsky's The Marriage, performed on this occasion by the Allender Own Brand Philharmonia and Chorus under their commissionaire, Claudio Abbado. The opera is in 3 acts, small, medium, and largo, and the action takes place in the top People's Republic of Harrods, a suburb of Knightsbridge. The 2 principal characters, Sir and Madam, sung here by Hans Crescent and Olive Green, are engaged to be married. We first hear them selecting a wedding present list with Madam running the gamut of her desires from pin to elephant, where they are joined by 2 regular customers, Ahmed and Mustafa, for the famous quartet Non Carbonare Ma Folly Fantastico. Forget about the toasters, I fancy a gazebo. Deddy, Madam's father, is sworn against the union, and in disgust he disowns his daughter, threatening to cut her off without a credit card. In Act 3, Sir is establishing his status by complaining to the store detective about the air conditioning and sings the plaintive aria, Your Counter Hand is Frozen. Suddenly, Deddy enters and chases him round the food hall and into the lift. This quickly develops into a tour de force, with the crowds on stage, all played by Peter Ustinov, swelling out the finale like a shop in full sail. The applause you hear is welcoming the arrival on the rostrum of the leader of the evening dress hire department, and we begin then with the shorter of the 2 works, Dvorak's Different Worlds Symphony.
Mr. President,
yeah?
Bad news. There's been a hold-up in bringing John Hinckley to trial.
Oh?
Yeah, seems they can't find 12 impartial jurors.
Well, that's no surprise. In a case like this, I guess the American people are bound to be prejudiced.
Yes, sir, but maybe if you polished up your image, then you may find...
Hepburn and Fonda in On Golden Pond.
James Cagney in Ragtime.
Ronald Reagan in The White House.
And now, Benjamin Cream predicts the greatest comeback of them all, Jesus Christ, TV star. Yes, after a successful run on the lunatic fringe, Benjamin Cream, prophet maker imaginaire, is here.
Parable Pictures, in communion with United Baptists, present the return of the Pink Pantheist, or Guess Who's Coming to Earth.
Tired of repeats? Well, this is one repeat you won't want to miss. The Second Coming. Yes, heaven can't wait, so through the light of your living room comes the light of the world.
Over a worldwide acolyte link-up, your on-screen Nazarene will bring you the very latest in incarnation entertainment.
What's more, thanks to the technique of extra sensor round, your master's voice talks through his mind, not through his mouth, so he won't disturb the neighbors.
It's what you bought your video for. 3 stars in 1. See him with a capital H turn the other cheek when you turn the other channel, redeeming every sin except not having a television license.
Jesus Christ, TV star, with the very last word in judgment, because when he next turns up, the trumps he turns up will be the last.
Jesus Christ, TV star, coming back soon, God willing.
And now here is next week's news. The weekend. Paul Michael Glazer, who played Starsky, says he now realizes why he's been out of work for a long time and has decided to stop frisking producers for a contract. After a neo-Nazi is discovered posing as a liberal SDP candidate, party members say they first became suspicious when they noticed he had some policies.
Monday. British Airways confirms that to cut costs, it will split into 3 separate sections: rudeness, inefficiency, and waste. In Moscow, where a Samaritan-style telephone service has been started for people in distress, a KGB spokesman says that it will be twice as effective as the British Samaritans because there will always be 2 people listening.
Tuesday. The Department of Health says there's nothing new in a report that claims waiting around doing nothing may be good for you. A spokesman says that patients have long been able to get this treatment on the National Health. Adam Ant gets rid of his backing band, the Ants, by pouring boiling water over them.
Wednesday. In a survey into the effects of advertising on women, 30% of women questioned agree that sexist advertisements reinforce repressive attitudes to women, and 70% say they'll have to ask their husbands. As the Falkland Islands crisis continues, queues of film directors line the pavements outside the homes of John Mills and Kenneth Moore.
Thursday. Zsa Zsa Gabor's 8th husband, who left her when he found out she was 70 years old and not 54 as she claimed, explains he didn't like the idea of being married to someone old enough to be her own mother. After a woman hatches a chick in her bra, Erica Rowe takes up ostrich breeding. Following the news that the armed forces may get an 8% pay rise, hundreds of nurses volunteer for active service.
Friday. After Birmingham Council plant thin trees so that muggers can't hide behind them, residents complain that muggers now snap the trees in half and hit people over the head with them. The Daily Express apologise for calling Tony Benn a dictator, as they feel this is an insult to the memory of Hitler. Mick Jagger denies that he carries a gun in his pocket when he's in Britain and says he's just pleased to see us. And that is the end of next week's news.
Weekending featured David Tate, Sheila Steafel, Chris Emmett and John Glover. The script was by Bob Sinfield, Tony Sarche, John Revel, James Hendry, Richard Quick, John Langdon, Dave Dixon and Nick Yap. With newslines by Peter Hickey, Ken Ellis, Max Alcock, Ian Brown, Roy Apps, Susan Clark and Leslie Byrne, Andrea Solomons, John Hadley and Pia Zadora. The producer was Paul Mayhew Archer.
Oh, better get started. Next year's Eurovision song entry.
Yeah, only 51 weeks to go.
Dum-dee-dum-dee-dum-dee-dum-dee-dum-dee-dum-dee-dum-dee-dum dum-dee-dum-dum.
Not very catchy.
No, that's it.
How about fa-la-la-la-la, 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 fa-la-la-la-la?
No, we did that last year.
Oh, yeah, right, yeah.
Here we go. Pom-pee-pom-pee-pom-pee-pom. Pom-pee-pom-pee-pom-pee-pom.
Hey, that's got something.
Yeah, not bad, is it?
Great, I'll get that done. Pom-pee-pom-pee-pom-pee-pom. Pom-pee-pom-pee-pom-pee-pom.
Well, that's got the words. I better start working on a tune.
Right, right.